Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. How's it going? My name's Joel, your host. Welcome to When the Smoke Clears. Again, how I get my videos started always for a moment of silence, followed by a serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. Moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. Well, good afternoon. Well, how's it going, everybody? I just been here, still at the Crosspoint Institution is where I'm at. Still sober, still working the program, still in recovery, and I was thinking, earlier today that I got a ride. I'm in this wheelchair, right? So whenever I have an appointment, whatever, I gotta go to the doctor, I gotta go to the therapist, or wherever I'm going, I gotta get this ride right from this facility that takes people with wheelchairs. And anyway, I get a ride, and this girl, she's the driver, and she starts, making conversation, you know what I mean, and she's giving me this little bit of history of herself and how her life has been, and it was interesting to me that, she's listening to the radio also, and she starts talking about how depressing things are, and the song on the radio is, it's some song, I don't know who sings it or what, but it's something that the younger folks listen to, and 20s, 30s, or whatever, and teenagers, but they're all these sad songs, and they're all depressing. You know what I mean? And it just listening to this young girl's story, I'm like, man, is it like that all everywhere? And I've dealt with depression. I know people who deal with depression. I know people who have gotten over it. I know people who hasn't gotten over it, and I know people who just didn't make it at all and no longer with us. And it's something that is hitting, or has been hitting, our society for many years, but under the radar. Then it progressively gotten worse and worse and worse, and I mean now it's talked about. And I could remember growing up in the 80s, if you were depressed and then you isolated yourself and that sort of thing, well, then you were the loner, you know what I mean? You were that guy or that girl, you know what I mean? That's the losers, it's a loner, or just you automatically had this title put upon you, and you stayed there, and in the 90s, the 80s just nobody's talked about it. I mean, if you were depressed or if anything was bothering you, I mean, nobody knew about it. So you dealt with it on your own, and you sucked it up, or that you dealt with it in some form or fashion, however you did. And I can remember as a young teenager doing things, when I was bothered by something, whether it was depressed because you were heartbroken, or depressed because of your parents, not letting you do this or that, or just whatever the case was that was bothering you. I could remember smoking weed, and that's how I then I got into sports, and I dealt with it. If I spent all my time in playing sports and exercising, then I was good. And then just being distant from not your friends but your family. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be home. Because I didn't want to hear my parents arguing. I didn't want to hear my dad. My dad was always coming in at different attitudes, and you just never knew what you were going to get that day. And I didn't want to deal with that, you know what I mean? So I'd rather be, oh, well, where's Joel at? Well, he's got, football practice, track practice, or whatever practice, and, I would be gone, and I wouldn't come back till late. That was my excuse, to always be isolated from the family. And a lot of the times, I was, just, I know that I was depressed for some of the childhood, but I didn't, I just didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was part of life, I guess. But as I got older, and then I see the folks who grew up in the 90s, well, the music had a big impact on depression and the folks growing up on the 90s because of the rock bands. It's what that's my take on it, is that it exploded into the mainstream scene, that people were depressed, and anybody depressed, then automatically that was, if you were depressed, you were doing drugs, or if you were depressed, you were drinking too much, or if you were depressed, then why are you listening to this rock and roll? And a lot of the Nirvana and the Kurt Cobains and the Winehouse and just those famous folks who dealt with their depression and disease in a way that they are no longer with us. So then it became, quote unquote, in the mainstream. People saw it, people knew about it. Now you got the piquing the interest of the world, in a sense, and the political figures, the doctors, the science community, the doctor community. All these people are now, oh, there's a problem, this, that, and the other now. They were starting to blame things, but yet they still didn't know how to fix it. So in the 90s, then all these things started popping up where kids were just young adults and older adults all taking these medications. You know what I mean? If you were bipolar 1, bipolar, you were depressed, this, that, PTSD, all of that stuff started coming into play. And it started to show up in the mainstream. In other words, you saw it more on this evening news. You saw it more online, and more videos of this, and more videos of, oh, so-and-so passed away because of this, and they were depressed, or they had took all these pills, and, the Whitney Houstons, and that sort of stuff, and what's her name, the blonde, married to the billionaire, you know what I'm talking about. Gosh, I can't remember her name. I'm talking about Anna Nicole Smith. Now, all these people just start, even the big guy, Belushi, the other big guy, what's his name? Come out of that, Tommy Boy guy, that, what I'm talking about. Well, see, all these people, when all that starts coming out, then now you have everybody taking these different medications, and still we don't know how to deal with it. The government doesn't know. The doctors don't know. So they're just feeding these people these pills, and the more and more society's just getting more and more deeper into these depressed modes, and you know, abuse starts skyrocketing. Not only on illegal drugs, but the illegal prescription drugs, and it seemed like the number of people, as far as age goes, just started going down and down. Like the younger they got, and it's just it started making me think, like, man, why is this happening, and who's doing something about it? And you know, as an addict, I knowing how it feels to be in that dark environment, per se, in that environment where you don't know, you feel like you're missing something in your soul, and your mind is just getting pulled in 20 different directions at one time, and you just don't know how to deal with it. You just want to scream, but you don't want to deal with it with, you feel better if you just hear the music and stay in your room and pull the covers over your head until it's freezing, and until you just sleep. But then you start, you see these things on the TV or on the computers and the internet and stuff, and people's phones, and then, the mind starts being curious, like, wow, well, let me try that. You see how that makes me feel. Then they start doing it, and you start taking this, and you start taking that, and eventually you find something that is able to match that feeling that you're comfortable with. So then in turn you start to keep wanting more of it, and it's like, how do you stop that? You know what I mean? It's something hard to do, because you can't just, some people can, maybe some people can't just automatically say, you know what, boom, I'm done. I know your mind is just so, it's just playing tricks on you, tells you to take more, tells you that, if you don't, your mind starts going so, in so many different directions that you don't know what to think, in a sense. And you're just like, man, well, if I take one more, then I'll just go to sleep. And if I mix this with it, then, maybe that'll be, it'll make me go to sleep faster. And through that whole experimentation, you're not thinking of the domino effect of what it's going to do to your body, what it's going to do to your life, or any of that kind of stuff. And so it's just something that it just started. I started thinking a lot about it today, and I was like, you know what? Let me get on here and do a quick video and just talk about it and see, maybe if anybody else has any suggestions on how to deal with that, and maybe you can comment or leave me a message or something like that, and maybe you can maybe we can have a collaborated video or something to discuss the not the do's and don'ts of depression, but the how to cope with depression, and what suggestions on how to cope with it in a healthy way. Because after the 90s and the 2000s, it was just, it was just terrible. And still today, same thing. There's just people just, going back to the story when I first started talking about the ride that I got this morning. Well, this particular girl, her was telling me that she had a fiance who passed away, and she said she passed away because of depression. And I don't know, I didn't ask, I didn't get into details, but the excuse she used of why the gentleman passed away was because he was depressed. So I don't know what happened, for him to not be in this world anymore. But she was so young, and I have a daughter who's young, and I was like, man, I think about my children when anything like that happens, and I try to encourage them all the time. I mean, I try to talk to them as much as I can, and because you can't force anybody to do something, especially your family. You know what I mean? It's your loved ones. I mean, you can. All you can do is try to guide and talk them into things that are healthy, so that somewhere along the line that they may be able to deal with the reality of depression and not fall to the into that deep dark place. And it is a very, very hard thing to deal with, especially in today's society with all the different types of drugs out there, the single families, single moms, single dads, just kids living on their own, and the world is so money oriented in a sense, so that you can't. It's almost like there's no family time. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what the world is missing, is that family time, that time that siblings engage with siblings and mom and dad, or mom, dad, whatever your situation is. But if they feel that bond and that love and that compassion and that empathetic feelings and the not when you hear your kids crying out for the help, and or that they want to be just want to have a conversation with mom, have a conversation with dad, and they don't want to hear the shut up and I'll talk to you in a minute, or just leave me alone right now, I'm busy and I'm on the phone, and all that kind of shit. Because I could remember one time when I was a kid, I was little, and I was so excited to tell my mom something. And my mom was dealing with her life. She was dealing with 5 kids, and she was dealing with an alcoholic, drug addict husband. And I just happened to catch her on the wrong day, on the wrong time. And I was so excited to tell her some news, and she just turns around and just yells at me. And my heart sank. I mean, the feeling that, how you get that like hot feeling where you can feel your body just flashing hot. And then you can just feel your tears coming up in your eyes, and you just like are so hurt because the very person that you look at as the symbol of love and comfort just, lashed out at you for no particular reason, because they're having a bad day. You just happen to be there at the wrong time, you know what I mean? And you're the one who took that blunt force trauma of words, if you will. And man, when I felt that, I can remember myself as an adult, as growing up, that I was like, man, I'm never, ever going to make somebody feel like that. And yeah, I've yelled at my kids, and yeah, I've spanked my kids, but man, it takes, I honestly, it took years for me to train my mind to think before I speak. And, because you just don't know what the ripple effect of your words are going to have on somebody. And the ripple effect of the words that came out of my mother's mouth that day, boy, did they freaking they gouged my freaking heart, like, deep. And I still feel it today. You know what I mean? I still feel that today. I can remember, I feel when right this minute as I'm thinking about it, I could feel that feeling like of just like, you know, like you just want to cry. And, you know, I was like, man, that, you know, when I see people, you know, my daughter was babysitting the other day, a few weeks back or whatever for her sister. And she told me, Dad, baby just wouldn't stop crying. And I was like, maybe this is what you gotta do. All you have to do is be calm yourself and just show love. Because if you're irritated in any sense while you're holding that baby, the baby could feel the negative vibe coming off of your mind, off of your body. It is just absolutely freaky how that works, because whether you believe it or not, does happen, is that the energy that the human body just projects out, because it does. There's energies that you project out that you can't see, but people can feel it. And I couldn't, you know, that's why when you see, you know, the pictures of dads or whatever, or moms, and they have the baby just holding here, or the young little kids, or, you know, if you're just, you know, have you're talking to your kid, and you just, you know, you see the bit in the movies all the time where the mom's there and the daughter's like right here, and she's just talking to her, just brushing her hair this way or whatever. They get into that comfort zone because they feel the security, they feel the love, they feel the need, they feel the affirmation that they're loved, that they're wanted, that they mean something. And as human beings, we all long for that, no matter who you are. That's just natural. And when you don't get it, and you get nothing but all this negative stuff, you don't know how to deal with any of that stuff. And so if there's one thing that you could take away from this, things that I'm talking about, is if you feel you're depressed on yourself, or you know someone who is, the first step is just let them know that you care. Let them know that no matter what it is that they're going through, that you're here to listen. That if you can't help them in any way, you can help them by just listening and letting them know that, you know what, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to do whatever I can. If there's anything that you need, if there's anything that you want to talk to, just call me. And without any type of repercussions or negativity that I'm going to, that you're not going to, you know, give a negative response back, that they can be that comfortable in letting that go, whatever it is that's bothering them. Because that's where it starts. Because it starts with people being able to peel off just a little bit of that onion, and the next time they peel off a little bit more, and the next time they'll peel off a little bit more, and the next thing you know, you both are crying. You know what I mean? But no, but in a real sense, is just that I think society needs to be more compassionate, more loving, more treat people like you want to be treated. You know, look after your neighbors, look after your mama and your daddy, look after your brother, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts and uncles. You know, life's too short to hold grudges. You know, doing anything in that sort of negative instincts and stuff like that is just, to me, wasted energy. And you could put that energy into something positive, like loving somebody, like showing somebody you care, like helping out your brother and sister, because we're all brothers and sisters. We all come from the same Creator. We all bleed the same. So I I just wanted to kind of, touch on that topic today, and just, give you a little bit of what I think about it, and how I deal with it, and today, I'm not using, so, because that was my way to deal with it, and today, I'm doing these videos, and I'll attend meetings and share my story, and if anybody, if I hear somebody in me and they need help, I sit down and reach out, and then I sit there and talk to somebody, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times people, that's what they want. They just need somebody to just sit there for a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes of your day to hear somebody out, like I did with that girl. The whole ride, she's sitting there spilling out her guts. She doesn't know me, I don't know her, but she's just getting all this stuff out, and I told her, I said, look, right now you're still in the grieving process, and you know what, I'm going to pray for you, because you need prayer, and you need to know that, even though we're strangers, I care about what happens to you. I don't want to have to be picked up one day and she's in this depressed mode and decides that she wants to run into the freaking medium in the highway, and I'm in the van, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's human nature to be helpful and to want to help people. I think so. So, if nobody hasn't told you today that they care, they love you, well, you know what? I care, I love you, and I just want you to know that there's help out there if you think you need it, and if you just want to talk to somebody, you can. There's resources. There's different types of programs, meetings that it doesn't have to be any type 12-step stuff or anything like that. It could be just people gathering and just to talk, and so I always like to take the day into my little videos and stuff to kind of give people just a few locations of where I know that where there's meetings and people who can help, and I'll give my email out and stuff like that, so that if you want to shoot me an email or just shoot me a message through the YouTube channel or whatever, and just let me know what you think. If there's anything else that maybe that you're doing that you didn't hear me talk about, then if you think it would help somebody, let me know. Maybe we'll talk about it, and because I'm always open to new things and that sort of thing. So again, if you like to attend a meeting or anything here in San Antonio, Texas, go downtown to the west side with the Corazon group, then with the oh gosh, I'm sorry, my mind just went blank. Okay, the Winners Club out in the northwest side of town, Goliad group on the southeast side of town, and Club 12 out in the north central part of town, and the Esperanza group in the west side, downtown San Antonio. So all these places have great people there. They'll sit there, talk to you, they'll care. Man, I know quite a few people in each one of these meetings, in each one of those places, and man, great people out that way. My email, joelscorpflow@gmail.com. That's JOELSCORPFLO. Shoot me an email. See if we can't do something on the collaborated video or something. If you got a comment, feel free to comment, and hit the like button, please, if you would. And again, next time when the smoke clears, we'll see you. Thank you for watching.